Turn around. The kingdom of the skies is near. Jesus delivered that message 2,000 years ago, marking the time for the fulfillment of God's promises. With the advent of this new kingdom, the promise to eradicate sin and death, establish God's kingdom, and renew all of creation would finally come to fruition. This new kingdom starkly contrasts with what we see in the world, where violence, hatred, and injustice claim the final word. And in this new kingdom, security rests in a shared love for one another, not protection against one another. This kingdom may be hard to accept. It may even feel beyond us and our grasp. However, Jesus said and claimed that the kingdom of God had come to earth. And surprisingly, it came first to those who are rejected, those who the world deemed as unimportant, powerless, unworthy, or marginalized. It would be through these people that God would launch His new kingdom. It would be like a revolution, but not a revolution for power or influence. It's a movement of people who so desperately long to serve because they desire healthy relationships between people, neighbors, and communities. One of the many great blessings of this new kingdom is provision. God, in His great generosity, wants to give and give lavishly. That's why Jesus says this, "Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing?" Depending on God's generosity frees us from striving for the things that attempt to arrest and claim our allegiance and cause us to worry. Things like food, money, resources. If we depend on God's generosity, then we're able to live out the advice that Jesus gives us in Matthew 6:33. But seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all of these things will be added to you. This verse is extremely central to North Cities. It is from Matthew 6:33 that Pastor Hargrove coined the term God gravity. The God gravity is simply the belief that God will bring everything to you that should be yours and get rid of everything that is not to be yours. It's a posture of trust. However, this posture isn't passive, it's active. The condition for receiving God's generosity is that we must first seek His kingdom and His righteousness. Seeking the kingdom is an invitation by Jesus to prioritize and live out the values of the kingdom, which run antithetical to the world's values. The world, for example, values power and strength. Power that controls others, and strength that realizes one's desires. But in the kingdom, those values are inverted and replaced with one whose power is the power of the servant, and one whose strength is the strength of love. Seeking the kingdom means dethroning the world's kingdoms and values and replacing them. Now, concerning seeking God's righteousness, that means far more than adhering to a moral code or evaluating our relationship with God. Seeking God's righteousness means right living between you and other people. It means laying down your desires and preferences for the sake of another. It means living rightly between you and your spouse, your children, friends, family, employees, or employers. For Jesus, this kind of righteousness goes back to the garden and embodies the ethic of the new kingdom. This way of life isn't driven by a personal desire for gain or ambition, but by a desire that compels people to do right, to do justice, to seek the peace of all, and to give generously without restraint. If we live in this way, seeking first the kingdom and God's righteousness, then everything that is ours will come our way. Therefore, you don't have to worry. You don't have to fear. You don't have to so desperately strive and work for things and resources. You can trust in the God gravity